Okay. Good evening. Welcome to the Georgetown School Committee meeting on Thursday, March 3rd, 2011. Tonight is a special working session that we're going to be going through the budget. First item is to approve the regular session minutes of 2/17/11, budget and finance minutes of February 10th, budget and finance of January 6th, budget and finance of January 20th, all of 2011.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any discussion?
Not anymore.
Nope, that's right. Those opposed? Motion carried. Student representative. What would you like to tell us tonight?
All right, so it's exciting that both the boys and girls basketball teams made it into the state tournament. And we went to the game the other night for the boys, and they won the first round, so it was a very great game. We had many participants in the Boston Globe Scholastic Art and Writing program, and Becca LaPlaca got a silver key, and Lauren Flo, Amy Callahan, Maggie Nelson, and myself got an honorable mention for artwork.
Great. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thoroughly Modern Millie, the musical, was a huge success. Huge success. And the French students went to France this past February vacation, and they all had a great time, learned a lot. And it was a really great experience for all of them. I heard many great stories from that. And finally, the freshman-sophomore frolic, which is a semi-formal dance, is tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah.
And when are the boys and girls' next games? Do we know? Are they posted somewhere?
The next boys' game is Saturday. I'm not
The
positive.
girls are
Okay. And girls are tonight? Okay.
Girls are tonight?
Mr.
The
Prescott,
girls are tonight at
Girls
Shawsheen.
Shawsheen Tech tonight, because I'm on seat.
And the boys
Okay.
are where tomorrow?
Boys are playing North Shore.
North Shore.
At North Shore Tech.
On Friday or Saturday?
Saturday.
Okay. Very good. Okay. Public.
What time on Saturday?
7 p.m.
7. Right. What we're going to do next is, if there's anyone here from the public that wishes to speak on an agenda item, feel free to step forward and speak. We are going to get into a budget discussion, so that we can have those comments made separately. So the next item is Michelle Smith and Ellie Sinkowitz. If you want to come up and talk about the Pembroke Building project grade configuration.
Hi, Ellie.
Hi, Ellie. Hi, guys. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
I would say hi. You were early.
Okay, we're here on behalf of the School Building Committee, recommending to the school committee that in addition to the 1 through 6 grade option configuration that we're studying in the feasibility study, that we also look at a kindergarten through grade 6 configuration. And we can say that this will be done without appropriating any further funds from the town. We feel that it's our job as the building committee to bring all options to the town. And even though in the statement of interest that was submitted, we said just grades 1 through 6, if K through 6 ultimately is a better grade structure for the school, then we feel that, you know, if we have the opportunity to study it, we should take advantage of it and study it. We have talked to the MSBA about this, and it is not too late at this point to add into it another grade configuration. Once the process does start, though, we will not be able to go back and add in another grade configuration if we do not do it now. Obviously, we want school committee support and also Board of Selectmen support for this, and nothing will be done until, you know, if we're going to proceed, that we have support from both committees. Like I said before, there's, you know, no additional funds that would be appropriated on this. You know, we'll have an OPM, designers, you know, monitoring the costs. We'll be there watching the costs, you know, at all times and making sure that we stay within the parameters that were voted on at our fall town meeting. This study is meant to explore the options requested by the town. We're not asking you right now to say, you know, that K through 6 is what we're going for. We are just looking at it as an option to add to the study. And at this point, it's not going to hold up our process for an OPM or anything like that. The MSBA is holding our enrollment letter until about mid-March, because once the enrollment letter is sent, no community has ever been able to change their grade configuration after that. So they gave us the opportunity to come to the town and see if we had support to look at this additional grade configuration. And I know that in a lot of other towns they've worked with, they do work with multiple grade configurations during the feasibility study.
So as part of
So-
the feasibility, if we look at a K through 6 option, will there be like a reuse of the existing Pearly School with the early childhood?
That's part of the
That-
study.
Okay.
That's,
That'd be part of it, okay.
that's part of the study, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I think it's a good idea.
there may be some savings for the town if you had
Yep.
a larger elementary school and then you could determine what could happen with Pearly. You know, there could be other town needs, like maybe senior center and a few other things.
It would
that
give the
maybe that
town
school
some
could-
flexibility down the
Yeah.
road.
Yeah.
I mean, looking well down the road, you know, whether it's short-term, 5 years or 20 years down the road, you'd have a bigger building there to some degree.
Less
Well,
buildings to
Oh, but-
maintain in many ways.
Right.
If the town decided at some point Pearly would have, although there are some restrictions, I guess, to what Pearly can
Yeah,
be.
you have that in your package.
Right.
We have the,
Yeah.
you know, but if we've already gone, you know, with Mike Farrell and the town attorney, that if preschool is there, you know, that qualifies as being used, I think the term was for school purposes.
So does that limit the opportunity to put like a senior center in there, or, I don't know what else you would use?
I think those
I
are
mean,
questions still
that's-
being asked.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh, I
think
thought
that
in reading that, as long as there was some portion of the building being used for a school, so at least that's what it sounded like when I read
Right.
it. That, you know, even if you had administrative offices, that was my question, because I think that would
Right,
always
yep.
possibly make sense.
Absolutely. That would be my lay reading as well, but I think just to be on the safe side, we were trying to see if the town council might, you know, give some
Okay.
feedback on that as well.
All right,
Right.
we haven't gotten that yet.
We haven't sought it.
But no, Mike is
Oh,
seeking
my-
it now.
we have.
Right, there was an opinion
Right.
from,
there was an opinion
the-
from the
from one
town
of the
attorneys.
attorneys on the
Right,
back.
right. You know, using it for school administrative offices, using it for pre-K, you know. I mean, that's a discussion that would have to be had, I think, even at the town level.
Right.
You know, as far as what they wanted, because it is a town building.
Really, all we're seeking is your agreement that it's worth looking into this as a future possibility. It's not a commitment, it's
Right.
just that we found out it cannot be looked at later. It's a now or never deal. It's the only reason why we're
I think
bringing it forward.
one of the important things is that we do look out as far as we could possibly look out. I mean, look at our situation with the high school. You know, it just seems we're built in 1996, so it's 15 years old or so, and it's tough to look out past 15 years. Don't get me wrong, but I think flexibility would be a key ingredient to at least exploring this idea.
the thing that concerns me, and I've said it before, is what has changed since we did the SOI to now, to have us now look at it, you know, yet another grade, because now with the issues that we're facing at the high school, you kind of sit back and say, is one possibility to throw grade 7 and 8 in there as well and look at a completely different configuration and different uses for Pearly. So I get nervous that we're opening up Pandora's box as opposed, you know, and saying, this is what we're going to choose to look at, even though nothing has really changed since we did the SOI of substance.
I could actually
think-
address that a little for you. When we first started looking at it, in the back of everybody's mind, they kept saying, and we'll make sure if it has to be a new building, that it has the ability for add-on. And so
Right.
that's really what's bringing this forward. If we're actually in the back of our mind thinking, maybe someday an addition would go on, since it's not going to cost more money right now, why not look at that as a possibility? That's all it is, just to see what if.
But but still, when you look to the older grades, is that something that you want to think? I mean, with the space
It's
issues,
gonna level off. I mean,
Right, but I'm saying, you
enrollment's
know,
gonna go down. Historically,
Well, that
it
was
does.
Plan A.
after
That was
10
Plan
Right,
A.
that's-
It was
That
Plan A.
right?
Right.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So-
yeah, some things we talked about was the possibility of putting us a 7th and 8th grade, like a floor, another level
Right.
up if we had to.
Yep.
Or if you had to branch out, you have a wing open
Right.
to
Right.
put the 2 grades.
You're talking
If
about
that
in
were the
Plan
case.
B, George, we're
You-
talking
not
about.
Plan
Yeah,
B,
yeah,
but
yeah.
you need to
Good,
expand it
right,
where it becomes
right.
like a K through 8 or
Right.
1 through 8
Yeah.
school.
Yeah,
So on
And-
the table right now, all that's on the table right now, though, as far as in the SOI, is the 1 through 6.
right.
Yes.
That's correct.
Okay, all right, that's
Yeah.
what we should
Correct.
have
But
options.
if you open up that can of worms, you have to do it now.
Right.
But we
Right.
can't, the problem is that type of study might cost more.
Right.
Right.
You know,
Well,
to one
right.
grade we're
So let
talking
me- so let me
about
ask,
is
so-
not.
You mean in
do
the
K
final
through-
product?
Say we,
Yes.
say we do we decide to go K through 6.
Mhm.
And then one day we decide, you know what, we're gonna make it 1st through 7th.
We're not limited.
We're not
Once
limited
the
to that
building
change,
is,
right?
if
Once it's
building
built.
or
Once it's
addition
built.
Once
is,
the
Built,
building's
it's fine,
here?
right?
Yeah.
right,
Yeah,
you can
no.
do anything you want.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I think what George was alluding to is that sometimes it makes sense when you're building it to think, well, if we ever did have to add on, that's what we were looking at, is making the roof structure such that there would be the ability to add another floor above.
Right.
But that's
Right,
part
right.
of building for the 50-year solution that you would be
Yeah.
building anyways.
Right, it seemed like they built
Regardless of
that
the
into,
configuration, the idea is that you would build either so it can wing out or
Or
if
go
it's
up.
multi-story
Right.
go up.
right.
When was
Yeah.
the 1 through 6 submitted?
2.5 years ago.
Oh, six?
To,
No.
It was written in
The
2008.
SOI?
It was two-
2007.
My first November here was when we submitted it.
Right.
Okay.
And you were, and.
I thought it was
the-
2008.
He's up-
It was
no,
8.
I think
It
it's
was
2008.
It is 2008.
2008.
Yep.
All right,
okay.
I support this.
All right, the chair will, are we voting?
They would like.
We would like to
We'd
vote.
like to
All right.
vote.
Okay,
Should- yeah.
so,
The MSBA.
I move-
Yeah. More importantly, I guess, the MSBA would like
This
to
is,
vote.
part of the, this is part of the statement of interest, right? So we're adding it as part of the feasibility
Yes.
study.
As
It'll be
part-
part of the
I
feasibility.
move that we add K through 6 as an option in the feasibility study for the statement of work for the Pembroke School project.
second. Any discussion?
I just had one other question.
Yep.
So this will not impact, you're sure, you're confident that it won't impact, you know, the chances of us getting a project approved? I mean, this is just
With
No.
MSBA or with
with
the town?
MSBA?
No, we've
No,
already
definitely
talked to
not.
them.
They've
Definitely,
told
not.
us
And
how
if
to do it.
anything, basically what's gonna happen, I mean, we think based on the space limitations, we're looking at a reno addition or a new building. So what's gonna happen by adding this, probably at a minimum, what we're gonna get back in the preliminary schematic design phase is, we'll get a K through 6 with a reno add, new building, a 1 through 6 reno add and new building, with cost options too. And at that point, we're gonna come back to the school committee, I mean, it's gonna be a community thing as we go through this. So we'll just have more options to look at, you know, with the cost as we go forward. I mean, if we look at something and the cost is, you know, sky high for one of the options, then we just might realize that that might not be an option for Georgetown. You know, so it'll just give us more options, more details to look at, more costs to look at.
And when you go to town meeting, you will have selected a preferred option. You won't go to
Right.
town meeting with
I
two
understand.
options.
That was
Right, no,
Yeah.
yeah, this is preliminary,
Yeah.
and then we'll go to the MSBA, well, you know, Georgetown will pick what we feel is the best option for us, and then we will go back to the MSBA with what we feel is the best, and they have to basically sign off on it, and then we'll go to town meeting with the one preferred option that we've all come to agree on.
So the building committee will go to the town
Yes.
with the option,
After,
the preferred option, after
After
we
they're
go through.
approved. Approval
After
from
all the
everybody.
preliminary is done, and we look at all the preliminary studies that have been done, you know, with what our options are.
and MSBA is in support of us making any changes now, because they want the town to be comfortable with the study and what we're looking into.
Right, I mean.
Thank you.
Okay.
Questions from me?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. Any? Okay,
So
motion
motion
carries.
All right, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We will keep you updated.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
So Ellie, you're going on what, almost 10 years on this project? Is that what it?
The twins are in 6th grade.
Yeah.
They're freshmen in college, so
Yeah.
it's
So
been a
that's
while.
7.
That's a commitment.
Oh,
That's a
my.
commitment. She's a trooper.
And interviews start tomorrow for the,
OPM.
Yes,
OPM.
we'll be spending the day tomorrow doing that.
everyone got lined up and we're all
Yeah.
set?
Yeah.
We
We're all
have 4
set.
finalists and they're all
And that's
They're all-
dedication, Friday night interviews.
Yeah, there are 4 people, at least an hour